With me now is Todd Cunningham. He's an associate professor at the University of Toronto and clinical child psychologist. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
So let's talk about the ban that is now in place in a couple of provinces against cell phones. They're no longer going to be allowed in class. How much research is there out there to support these cell phone bans at school?
Well, there's a lot of mounting research to talk about how cell phones in general are very distracting, not only to youth, but to us adults as well. We know from some really good studies that when the cell phone is on a child's desk, in their pocket, or in their backpack, their ability to attend to the work in front of them is significantly decreased versus when the cell phone is in another room beside them. So the presence of the cell phone is very distracting to students in their learning environments.
Are you surprised that there has been so much pushback against this ban already, and it hasn't even started?
No, it's not surprising because anytime we have these big changes, there's a lot of anxiety that gets developed. Youth are really worried about, oh my goodness, how am I going to survive the day now without my phone? How am I going to be connecting with my peers and even my parents about what's going on in this world? We've developed a society that's very connected to our phones. We see these things as important pieces of our tools to get important bits of information on a regular basis. And when that tool is removed from us, then we start to feel a little at loss.
So, what are the upsides to having your phone put away for hours at a time?
Well, there's a lot of upsides, especially in the classroom or even the workplace. When our phones are removed from us, we're able to take all those kind of attentional resources and devote them back to the lessons, allowing us to listen to our teachers, to be able to do the work in front of us, and to engage in the social conversations that are going on within the classroom environment. And for youth, it's also important even between classes to not have their cell phones, because these are important times where they should be talking in real time with their peers face to face and not immediately going to their cell phones and pulling them away. One of the things that we've really seen in the literature is how much time youth are spending on their cell phones. This is like 3 hours plus a day that about 30% of our youth are doing. And that's 3 hours a day that they're not engaging in talking with their peers around them, developing those social skills of being present, to listening, and having like drawn out conversations.
And a lot of kids these days have attention problems. If you are the parent of one of those kids, is using the phone more or less helpful or harmful to those kids that have problems
Yeah,
with attention?
it's more. Yeah, so there's actually more harm with our devices. The quick screen movement and immediate feedbacks that we get often drive our attentional system to go and look for those things. Kind of gives us a little kind of a happy boost in our brain, a dopamine boost. So individuals who have attention-related difficulties, they actually gravitate to entertainment devices and social media devices because they're getting more of what their brains are actually missing. And so that draws them in more, which makes it actually more addictive to those types of individuals. So again, removing these things from those populations and for all of us is a really important thing. But as adults, we have to model this too. If we're expecting our youth to start to do this and our children to start doing this, as we come through the front door at the end of the day, we need to put our phones down too. We need to be attuned to the family members around us when we're sitting down at the dinner table, or even when we're driving. We need to open up opportunities to actually have good conversations and not always be going to our devices anytime that we have a moment to spare.
So it sounds like you're telling us kids could be better off in the end.
Kids can definitely be better off in the end, yeah.
Todd Cunningham, I promise I haven't looked at my phone once during our conversation. Thanks so much for being with us today. Todd is an associate professor at the University of Toronto and a clinical child psychologist.